setting the scene, there was a general question around Operation Valamgodi, but the detail of that question is when we're dealing with Shaft 11, rescuing people in Shaft 11, there was an indication that Shaft 10 has challenges, and we're going to evaluate it. So the primary question is that was everybody who was stuck, the illegal miners who had stuck themselves in the Stilfontein mine, were they all rescued, or there's still another effort? And also in general, we are dealing with only one mine. What are the government plans for the rest of them? So if you can start from there, then we can take only 4 or 5 questions, and then we will release you back into the Lekgotla. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much. About a week ago, we held the cluster Justice and Intelligence and ourselves, SABC. We held a meeting and we invited DMR, and the purpose of the meeting was to hear a closeout report on Stilfontein as the epicenter of illegal mining in South Africa, as it were. That report shows that everything has been done to the best of everyone's ability in terms of those who are involved in cleaning out. We were left with a situation of the service provider having to write out a closing report and sign it off. Police also do the same, and all the other people who are involved. But we satisfied ourselves that everything has been done, as I say, to the best of our ability. You'll recall operations lasted for about 2 days, where we had thought that it would last for 16 days, but we announced 10 days. But they did far less than that. And we said, even though we are satisfied that this was 3 o'clock or so, that no one is coming out anymore, but go there tomorrow, be there, satisfy yourselves that you have called out everybody, including the people that would be sent down, carry messages the way they were carrying. So everything has been done, humanly speaking, both in Shaft 11 and Shaft 10. The other thing that I need to say is that there was a man from there, I think he's a Sanko person, who on the second day of operations made a statement on TV that what has been seen, people coming out dead or alive, is picnic. What is lying ahead in terms of Shaft 10, we are going to see mass murders, how far mass murder has gone in that shaft and so on. But come the time, there was nothing. I interpreted that as a speculation, maybe a wish that more dead people be found in Shaft 10, and as it turned out, nothing of that nature ever happened. And so, as far as we're concerned, it's now a done job. What needs to be done now, the responsibility has shifted in Stilfontein to the mine owner, and with assistance from Minerals Council, but all of it under DMR, to seal that those shafts, particularly Shaft 11. But I don't think they will deal with Shaft 11 only. They need to deal with all other shafts that may still pose a problem. Now, in terms of the way forward, we took a resolution there, assisted by net joints, that we have to intensify the ban on illegal mining in the country. There are many reasons for that. One of the reasons cited by the Minister of Minerals resources and petroleum was that it now comes at a cost, illegal mining, comes at a cost of no less than 60 billion rand per annum, just illegal mining. But there's also the other aspect of criminality. Where does whatever they get from underground, where does it go immediately it reaches surface? Those who pick up what those who mine, where do they take it to? Because they remain there. They don't go out. It means that the second layer takes from the first layer from underground, give it to the third layer, and ultimately it goes somewhere for refinement and all of that. But we're interested in that value chain, so we're intensifying that investigation on those who could be termed as sophisticated, those who are in hiding, and those who are operating even from outside the country, so that we get the whole of this value chain. So we will come up with that. Investigations are underway by DPCI and other agencies. But we're interested also, as we said, we're interested in the 10 companies that were there assisting in whatever way they were assisting. Some of them were found their objectives. They say their objectives is to assist communities around illegal mining activities, empower them and all of that. But they do that outside government. They have never spoken to us. We hear when we pick up documents here and there. That is worrying us, because some of them are from overseas. Now, they follow the companies that mined during the colonial era and during the apartheid era. And now we have the third layer of companies that come from overseas to do things as they want and so on. We will look for a meeting with them, sit down with them. What are your activities? What are your objectives? You'll recall we were taken to court about 5 times. And we don't believe that people from around there had all the money to do that. So they were aided by these 10 companies without declaring. All of us who are there, including us as government, we declared everything that we're doing. When there's a body coming from underground, we declare it. When there's somebody who is sick for something, we declare, take to hospital. Those who were arrested, those who were taken to their own countries, we declared everything. There's not a single thing that we hid, that we hid behind, including the questions, delicate questions of balancing rule of law and human rights. We were overboard. We were, transparent on that. Now, we don't want anybody to then work underground in a delicate situation like that and so on. So what is the way forward? The way forward is to intensify the ban on illegal mining. We will be led by Department of Minerals and Petroleum. They've done some work and they are proceeding. We just have to intensify. We will follow them, assisting in terms of law enforcement, where law enforcement is called upon to act. Of course, having learned some lessons from Stilfontein. I'll rest it there.
Thank you. May I take hands? We'll start here and then 3. Where's the original? Yeah. Okay, 4. So these 4 hands, going once, twice, gone. Okay.
Thank you, Minister. Peter High News. Minister, well done. More than 1,500 illegal miners were arrested, and only 29 or less than 30 were South Africans. What's the plan from the security cluster with regard to the borders, meaning that the illegals are coming here, but also, Minister, those who have been arrested are the illegal miners, poor people illegally mining. Where are the kingpins, Minister, the ringleaders? Thank you, Minister.
Madam Anastasia.
Anastasia Mchunu, feminist. Minister, there's been calls from communities around Gauteng where there was an incident of rape by mine workers the previous day, for a similar operation to happen in the area. Is there perhaps an appetite to move, to intensify the same way that it happened in Stilfontein around Gauteng and in other extended communities?
Thank you, Minister. I'm Hawelo Magoleva from UFM. You know, on the aftermath of the rescue there, we saw a picture of a man being circulated on social media with confirmation from police that is believed to be some kind of a kingpin who was not booked into the cells with everyone else, and apparently, as based on the admission of the leadership of the police in the Northwest, aided by the SAB's own officers. And previously there were allegations that SAB's vans were being used to move equipment for illegal miners. Just any comment on that, the involvement of law enforcement officers in this crime? And when you get to court, exactly what do these people get charged with other than being in the country illegally? How difficult is it to convict them, rather?
Last question.
Francis Luamacha, the Progressive Independent Radio TV. Minister, having received reports on this issue of illegal mining, how much of a problem countrywide is this problem, statistically so? And looking at Stilfontein, as government, do you regret the decisions that you took? And if you are given an opportunity to deal with Stilfontein again, are you going to deal with it differently? Thank you.
Over to you, Minister.
Thank you very much. Let me start with the appetite to deal with other open mines or other illegal or mines being operated on illegally. We have already said the way forward, as we see it, is to intensify our resolve to close all illegal mining in the country for various reasons. I counted only 60 billion in terms of the cost to the South African economy by this kind of illicit economy. But there are others. There is danger of people mining illegally without any guidance because there are residential areas on top. There are other people with other activities posing danger in that way. It even affects pillars underground that are no longer being maintained, and they could be moved sideways, posing danger to the surface. But these people come with a lot of other things that break the law, like stealing from the community around. There were reports there of cattle disappearing. There were also the issues of young children who are underage getting involved there. Many others interfering with electricity infrastructure and all of that. And so, therefore, the way forward, there is appetite, more than appetite. We need to close illegal mining in the country, and it's like all other countries elsewhere in the continent. Now, your question was
the involvement of the police.
The involvement of the police.
And the severity of the offense in court.
We've made, I think even through the National Commissioner and the Provincial Acting Commissioner, that it is clear beyond any doubt that there was an officer or officers who assisted the kingpin. But about the kingpin, this thing of the kingpin illustrates beyond any doubt that there was somebody who was resisting the call of government for the illegal miners to come out. And whatever went down, water or food in whatever form, it would be usurped by those people because he was not alone and even sold. It means that if you didn't have money, you wouldn't be able to drink water down there, or you wouldn't eat whatever. And so the question, who is responsible for the killing of the 78 illegal miners there, it's a question that needs to be asked with a lot of caution. So there is definitely a police officer or officers who aided the so-called kingpin. And it must be found, and there must be a consequence for that, and police are looking for him. And then your question is, I didn't write down, the summary of your question was What do you do with those who get arrested? And they are processed by justice, and they are charged for being illegally in South Africa. But if there's any other thing, like some of them come out with some of the pieces of material that is called bearing or any other mineral bearing, that is illegal to be in possession of that. Some even swallowed it, and some had it in pockets and all of that. There's one who was said to have swallowed it, but others, they had it in pockets. So it depended on the case, and they would be charged accordingly. I can't remember which other questions. Kingpin.
Where are the kingpins?
Yeah, the kingpins. I dealt with that question right at the beginning to say, it is clear that whatever is mined by illegal miners, they are not the movers. They are moved. Theirs is to stay there. You heard them saying they've been there 6 months, 4 months without coming out and so on. Now, it's clear that some of the people, for instance, who were saying were community, who were aiding and so on, they are most likely to be the ones who are in the second layer, who receive from those who are underground. We're interested in those people. We're investigating. Secondly, we said there are those, even those who receive from those who are underground, they are faces from around, which means that they are not also the movers. They are moved. They take from those who are underground, and then they give it to some real kingpins who are either in the country or outside the country. There could be 3 or 4 layers of people if you count the ones who refine elsewhere. We have some clues, police have some clues that they are following. They will arrest. They will go to the bottom of this, definitely.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Minister, for your time, and we really appreciate your coming through.
They say there's one.
Which was
the question on how much of the problem is countrywide.
But he has explained it. He said.
I asked for statistics as well.
No. It's really unfair on the minister.
And the last was, if government is given an opportunity to do Stilfontein again, will government do it differently?
Is the only question that the minister is going to deal with is the plus part of the Stilfontein, what are the lessons? But statistics, it's really unfair to ask the minister to provide statistics. Thank you. Minister, over to you.
There's going to be more time of reflection on this matter. You take it to yourself as an individual. When you're on a plane, it doesn't land in the same way all the time. Some pilots would land a little bit roughly, and others and so on. When you ask them, they will tell you you learn, or on each landing, you want to learn better. Each time so it's common cause that having gone through Stilfontein, we will go to other operations better equipped by what we would have learned there, and use those lessons to handle those situations that would pose. So that question is common cause. It's our daily experience that we want to do better all the time, and we would want to, both in terms of time and other efficiencies and so on.
Thank you, Minister, for your time. Members of the press, thank you for your time. Minister, you are to leave.
Thank you. Thank you.
Minister.